What do you think about when you hear the names of Katrina, Hugo, and Andrew? These names were unknown to a lot of people in the U.S., but soon became well known when they attached the name of the word hurricane to it. Hurricanes can be very dangerous, and those of us who have lived through them can testify that just how awesome and fierce these storms can be. It is very easy to fall victim to how bad a storm can be syndrome, and the problem is I know that I did. Hi, my name is Reggie Speech, and I am here to inform you about what a hurricane is, how dangerous it can be, and how take some simple measures that you can do to ensure that you and your family are safe and ready for a storm. First, let us take a look at what a hurricane is. A hurricane is a very dangerous event. A hurricane is a tropical storm that has maximum sustained winds greater than 74 miles per hour. As you see the slide here, the eye of the center of the hurricane can be up to 20 miles per hour, 32 miles as far as across. The weather in the eye is surprisingly calm with low winds and clear skies. The intensity of a hurricane is measured in the Saffir-Simpson scale. This scale measures the wind speed and air pressure of the storm. And based on these characteristics, a hurricane is ranked with a number between 1 and 5. And this website is located on Hurricane Facts. Now that we know what a hurricane is, let's know where hurricanes come from. Hurricanes originate in the Atlantic Basin. And of course, the right condition must be correct for a hurricane to form. Hurricanes originate in the Atlantic Basin, which includes the Atlantic Ocean, the Caribbean Sea, and the Gulf of Mexico, the Eastern North Pacific Ocean, and less frequently, the Central and North Pacific Ocean. And for a hurricane not to form together, cold water off the North America's west coast prevents hurricanes from surviving there. Hurricanes are areas of low air pressure that form over oceans in the tropical climate regions. And so now we see where hurricanes can form. Let's see how truly violent these hurricanes can be. Hurricanes can be very violent storms. The winds and floods that soon follow are devastating. Here are some examples of visual aids of how just devastating a hurricane can be. As you see this bus here that was carried by a hurricane and actually just put on top of this house. An example of a hurricane, as we know, is Hugo. Hugo's eyes came ashore off of North Charleston, South Carolina, bringing devastation far and wide. About 24 people died because of this storm. It left tens of thousands of people homeless and half of the state without electrical power. It was a Category 4 storm with winds up to 135 miles per hour, causing $6.5 million in damage. Only 6 hurricanes have hit South Carolina since 1851 with the force of Hugo. Legacy of Hugo Post and Courier was where this documentation was noted. Hurricane Andrew made landfall near Homestead, Florida, the early morning hours of August 24, 1992. Andrew's winds were thought to be 145 miles per hour at its height, but later was determined to be 165 miles per hour, winds pushing it from Category 4 to a 5. In Florida, 15 people died directly from the hurricane, and another 29 died indirectly. The damage from Hurricane Andrew was staggering. It was worth about $25 to $26.5 billion in damage in Florida alone. And of course, let us not forget about Katrina. Early in the morning on August 29, 2005, Hurricane Katrina struck the Gulf Coast of the United States. When this storm made landfall, it had a Category 3 rating on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane scale. It brought sustained winds of about 100 to 140 miles per hour and stretched some 400 miles across. The storm itself did a great deal of damage, but its aftermath was catastrophic. Experts estimate that Katrina caused more than $100 billion in damage. And we can see here from the slide how damaging a hurricane can be. In all, Hurricane Katrina killed nearly 2,000 people. And this can be found in the Hurricane Katrina Facts website. And now that we've seen and heard how how dangerous these storms can be, let us take a look at what ways we might be able to prepare for such a massive storm. And a good way to prepare for a massive storm is just to be smart and realize how dangerous these hurricanes can be. And of course, preparation is the key to minimize the damage from a hurricane. And also, like I said, to be smart. You need to select windowless rooms in the bottom of a bottom floor of your home, or at least know 2 locations of emergency shelter locations in your area. Consider special needs, medical needs as necessary. You want to keep vehicles gassed up at least a half a tank during the hurricane season, and also prepare a hurricane survival kit, which we see here on the slide presentation. Food and water, you need to have at least for 72 hours, and if not, at least for a few weeks. This is on the FEMA.gov website, where you can actually find all the items listed that you need for any kind of hurricane survival kit. You need to rotate canned goods every few years, and water should be replaced annually. You need to stock up on batteries, flashlights, rope, tarps, plastic bags, and bad weather clothing, and of course keep a first aid kit readily and available. And also, just to be smart, keep cash money for any kind of emergency use. And it's very important that you keep all these items listed in your survival kit. Now that we've learned everything, that we've touched on some areas about how dangerous a hurricane is, the damage that it can cause, and of course, how do we need to prepare for a hurricane. We learned some valuable tools and also be smart about realizing how dangerous these storms can be. Also, we learned simple ways that you're able to prepare yourself for this type of storm. But I always want to know, I lived through Hurricane Hugo, and at that time I did not know how dangerous these hurricanes can be. And of course, we need to be prepared and informed, because it could save your life and it could save the life of someone else. So my advice to you is be prepared during hurricane season.